How are we doing, folks? Just wanted to do a little kind of a quick tool review on a puller. Recently replaced some parts on this guy. I need to pull the power steering pulley off of there, power steering pump pulley. And so got this kit. There's not, locally there was not a ton out there. And not really anything in the tool rental programs, but in any of the auto parts retailers around me, including AutoZone, O'Reilly's, Napa, and CarQuest Advanced. So anyways, I ended up getting this guy from AutoZone. It was like 35 bucks, a little more than I'd like to spend, but I kind of needed it now. It's a part number 25298. And says here works on most Ford, GM, and Chrysler vehicles. I think the keyword there is most. So anyways, overall I'd say this thing's kind of a piece of junk. Now I don't only say that because it really didn't work for me without modification, but also bent one of the bolts when I was pressing back in the pulley back on the new pump on the shaft there. So anyways, kind of one thing that I ran into with this. So once again, this was on a 7.3 power stroke that I was trying to pull the pulley off of. So you'd think it'd be a bigger diameter and probably pretty average, fitting most Ford, GM, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so with that kit, you get a few things. You get a ring, basically with this clamshell piece that goes in the middle there to hold that together. You get this guy here, which pivots around this bolt, so nice and freely to press back on your pulley. And you get another bolt, so if you have a different size, threads, shafts, so on and so forth. You get, what else is in here? You get this guy, which I would assume is to press back in. I did not use that for my application, so did not use either one of those. And then you get this guy. This thing's beefy. No issues with it mechanically. Strong, shaft, decent size. The pressing piece here spins freely and nice around your piece that you're pressing into. So really no issues with that, with the exception of, you notice how there's some raw metal there. I had to grind this down on the grinder to get it to work for me around my pulley. So let me explain this. So essentially what you do here is you got your clamshell piece, and that wraps around this lip right here. And then the other end down here clamps onto your pulley to pull it off, right? So initially I gave it a shot twice, and this, with the diameter of this ring right here on this piece, this clamshell wouldn't close all the way. It left about a gap, something like that, right? Or maybe not quite that much, about that much, right? And so then at that point it's not closing around your pulley as much. So the second I threw that on there, started cranking it down, what it did is it basically stripped out the top of the pulley a little bit and just went crooked on me. So I was like, what's happening here? So I did it a second time, same exact result. So I started really looking at it, and that's why, because this piece here is too large of a diameter, and so it doesn't let this close enough to really grip onto the front of your pulley to pull it off. So I had to grind that thing down. I have no idea how much I ground it down, obviously, but I would suspect at least 1/8 of an inch. So a fairly substantial amount, maybe even a little bit more, to be honest with you. So after I did that, now when you put this clamshell piece around this, it now fully closes. So in that case, so now once it's fully closed, it'll grip onto that pulley really well and pulled it right off, no issues. So it kind of stinks. I damaged my pulley a little bit, and then after that, with the damaged pulley on there, I did grind it down to get a nice flat surface to press it back on. But so that was an issue with this thing. And obviously by reducing this diameter, this ring that you slide over here no longer works to keep it tight. So what I did is I wrapped electrical tape around this whole ring to hold it together once it was on there, and she came right off easy. So maybe this kit, this puller and installer tool would work better with other pulleys with slightly larger diameter surface area to grab onto, but for the 7.3 power stroke pulley, it does not work worth a shit in stock form. Now this, you can see there, the bolt is bent from pressing it back on. It only bent probably in the last 5 rotations before it fully seated, but still bent. So, I mean, that's not a huge deal, but obviously if you're going to use this again, you're probably going to want to go find yourself a grade 8 bolt to throw in here and get rid of this cheese dick thing. So, anyways, thoughts on this thing. Not a bad tool. Probably nothing that you'd want to use more than maybe a half dozen times before I'm sure you'd run into other issues with it potentially. So it's kind of in my eyes, a single or, 1, 2, 3, 4 time use type tool maybe before you run into other issues with it. But it did the job, and that's that. So if anybody has any questions, let me know. Or if you think I was doing something wrong, let me know. But yeah, that is that. Fun. Nothing can ever be easy, right? So there's that, and then I will be making another video on the rest of the install on the power steering, just overview. Everybody's done a how-to video on there on YouTube, so there's some good ones, but that's all I got for you. Thanks, and talk to you later.